Up next, Jeremy, come on up. How are you?
I am fantastic.
Good to see you again. How are things?
Great. A chance to get into Southern California is very nice.
Of course. Jeremy is the founder of Launchpad. What does Launchpad do?
Well, we're a new type of representation firm. While we specialize in Costco, we also work with other retailers besides Costco, like Safeway, Albertsons. And we're really a strategy company because too many brands try and go out without real strategies, especially for Costco. Most brokers, their strategy is just simply, hey, discount it this much, here's your pricing, here's your demo program. And we're really focused on building brands. And so that's more important. If you get into the whole item selling game, Costco will eat you for lunch.
So in essence, you work with brands to really do well and continue to do well in Costco. Costco's evolved quite a bit over the past few years. What are some of the biggest changes with working with that retailer and having those efforts to be successful in that channel?
Well, actually, Costco's kind of back to the future. They're back to where they used to be, where they're headed back to an everyday low price model. They got hooked on those coupons like they were doing cocaine. And not that I did cocaine, but I was here back in the 80s, and there was cocaine at 7-Eleven. There was so much cocaine in LA. But not at Costco. So Costco, I think where they've really evolved is that they've gotten really good at determining the success of a brand in a brief time, and they pivot much faster in and out of brands. So while a trend comes along, Costco can get into it and get out of it very quickly. Like Costco got into goji berries years ago. They had goji berry muffins. They had goji berries ice cream. They had, you named it. In every category, there were goji berries. When the goji berry craze slowed down, Costco immediately got out of it within 60 days. The supermarkets were all stuck with it for the next year. So Costco has the ability to react to trends. They also, through roadshows and other programs, it's really like a giant focus group there. So they can try things way ahead of everybody. A good example of that was when they went into organic. One of my clients who's been with me for a very long time is Bob's Red Mill, and Costco let us bring in 75 SKUs and test them in one of their organic buildings to figure out, which items are going to do best at Costco. What do their members respond to? And it was a highly successful program that allowed us to really focus on creating 3 to 4 items out of the 75 items that would go into Costco, and most of them are still there today.
You and I sat down for a podcast interview that's included in episode 100 of Taste Radio. Folks, if you have an opportunity, you should definitely listen to it. Fantastic episode. I'm not just trying to pimp our own product here, but it really is a good episode. And thank you so much again for doing that. One of the questions I asked you in there was about timing. And so for some of the early stage brands that are watching, when's the right time to consider Costco as a potential retail channel?
Well, I think it really depends on the category and the strategy of the brand. And it also depends on ACV, because the more ACV you have in a region, Costco's 8 regions. So let's just talk about, since we're in LA, we're in the LA region. You have to hit certain numbers in order to stay in Costco, and you want to be as successful as possible. So you want to have ACV, and too many brands, younger brands, go in too early, and so they underperform, which really defeats the Costco strategy. And so you also have to start thinking about it really early at the very beginning when you set your pricing for retail. Because I've had brands come to me that never set their pricing for Costco, and they couldn't get to the value at cost of what Costco's looking for because they had never thought about it, and then their margins would have been too low. A good example of a successful company that we just launched at Costco about 4 months ago is Urban Remedy. Urban Remedy is highly concentrated in the Bay Area. I'm proud to say I just think, the quality of their product I felt was perfect for Costco. It was a good fit. The buyer didn't think so in the beginning. because it has their salads have a 3-day shelf life. So there were some challenges there, and it's been a huge hit at Costco so far. And we were testing in 2 to 3 buildings, and now we're going to be in, I think we're going into 10 or 15 now. So those are things you have to look at. You also have to know your product. Some brands are fantastic in a 5-ounce bag, but you put them in an 18 or 20-ounce bag and forget about it. No one will sit there and get through that whole bag or whatever size it is. And so that's an important factor, because there's been some products that have failed that are highly successful at Whole Foods, but they just don't have the ability to transition into a larger format and get the turns that you need at Costco, because you really need to hit numbers of over $1,000 a week if you want to be a regular item. And you need to be able to get the turns so that they're moving probably every 14 to 21 days, they're having to order more product.
Some of these larger sizes and larger pack sizes you can now buy online. I mean, Amazon has proven that people buy in bulk and buy a lot of stuff in bulk. It could be from anything from toilet paper to bottled water. It could be snacks. What kind of impact has Amazon had on Costco's business? And I guess, how should entrepreneurs think about balancing their e-commerce strategy with their club channel strategy?
Well, what Amazon hasn't been successful at is taking actual club sizes, let's say like Tide, items that are heavier at Costco, that are more pallet-driven programs, and use that exact size on Costco. What they've done is they've kind of done these pseudo club packs, where they'll put the smaller item together either in a variety pack, or they'll get an intermediate size and try and sell it there. Because where Amazon runs into trouble is with their Prime program and the 2-day shipping. It's hard to ship 3,000 pounds and make money on it. And Costco's done a really good job at that. And if you look at Amazon today versus where they were 5-6 years ago with Costco, Costco's killing Amazon on price on a lot of items, because they're really getting back, as I said at the beginning of this, to everyday low pricing. Where Costco struggled a little bit was when they were doing all the couponing, so the prices went up to the consumers, and there wasn't as much of a gap. Now, Costco gets a really bad break by a bunch of idiot analysts who don't know stock, who don't know Costco. They're the same ones who are always saying Apple's on the verge of bankruptcy.
I love that you don't pull any punches when you're talking about this.
No, they're idiots though. They get they get interviewed. They don't understand Costco. They don't understand the loyalty of the members. Same thing at Apple. And so I was, when you go back and you look at the facts. So just real quickly. So all the analysts, when Amazon bought Whole Foods, jumped on Costco stock. It went down to 152. Now it's at about 212. So they drove the stock down with false information that created emotion that Amazon was going to crush Costco. Both companies will coexist for a very long time. As Amazon knows, they've had to get into brick and mortar in order to sell groceries. And Costco needs to be more efficient on their e-commerce strategy. I think one of the things that Costco doesn't do well that Amazon excels at is the tracking of your data and repurchases. Amazon knows everything you purchase, and when you come back, it immediately asks you, what do you want again? And I think those are some advantages that Amazon has. And but at the same time, Costco still wants to protect the warehouse business. They've got a lot of space out there. But if you look at how Costco achieves their pricing strategy, they're buying in truckload quantities. Amazon is not. And so Amazon's giving you fair pricing. Costco's giving you great value. And I think over time, as you see the numbers, I think Costco is up something for the year, their year ending end of August was up 33 or 34% on e-com, which is pretty darn good growth in the space that they're in. And the last 2 quarters, I think they were up over somewhere around 40 to 42%. So their e-com business is growing. They're developing partnerships with Instacart, with Google. All of those things are starting to pay off for them. And so I think I think long term they're going to be very successful online. But one other point on this is that, one of the aspects of Costco that none of the other retailers have, whether they're at e-com or whether they're brick and mortar, is Costco has that fun atmosphere of treasure hunting and the demos and the road shows. And so you don't get that online. And so there's a lot of people that like to go into Costco and go into the building. And so I think as time passes and millennials become a bigger part of Costco's business, they're going to see having to revamp their mobile app and things like that. And Costco is a really well-run company, and there's no doubt in my mind that they're going to continue to be successful.
Fantastic stuff, Jeremy. Thank you so much for being with us. It's a wealth of information. If you're here, if you have an opportunity to reach out to Jeremy, please do. You can find him on LinkedIn for sure.
Can I add one more thing?
We're actually out of time. Otherwise, I wish. Thank you so much for being with us on Livestream Studio. We're going to bring up our editor, Carol Ortenberg, who's going to take over the hosting responsibilities for the studio right now.